Keep away from me, Smith. I'm an agent of Goldstein. I didn't know it myself. Thought crime is so insidious. It just creeps up on you. My daughter found it out. Very proud of her. Very grateful I've been discovered before it's too late. They won't shoot me, will they, Smith? I know I could be very useful in a labor camp.
Room 101.
No. Please. You don't have to take me there. Why? There's nothing I won't confess. Nothing. I've told you everything already. What is it you want me to know? Take him instead of me. He's the thought criminal. It's him you want.
Whoa, last minute shit. Last minute shit. It's throwing me off. I'm trying to get the Trovo chat up and working to get certain things done. And our producer came in about 5 minutes ago. And then I found out I have to have the app to do certain things. Is this working? Is this thing on? To do certain things. But today is just jam-packed. Just jam-packed. And the theme of the show is the title of the show, and that is, This Machine Doesn't Run Backwards. It is set in motion, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not stopping. Ladies and gentlemen, hims and hers, these and theys, it is going to continue to move forward, and you will be crushed by it, because you will participate in it, or you will ignore it. And I don't know why people won't open their eyes. Well, I'll give some examples. A lot of people, so I mentioned the left and right a lot, and I will acknowledge I do tend to lean right, but I will say this. Both sides, for the most part, are made up of a majority of dum-dums. So the right's problem is they think there's this solution waiting around the corner that's just going to jump out any day now and is going to stop all the madness. But this machine does not run backwards. Ignoring it will do nothing but let it metastasize. One of the biggest problems with the political right is that they continue to share these fantastic, imaginative solutions that are going to stop everything. A lot of people refer to it as the plan. I jokingly refer to it as the plan. And every day I see a new plan, because yesterday's plan failed, and that's been going on for months. There's no fucking plan. There's no plan on the right. The 20th will come and the 20th will go, and Joe Biden will be your president, and that's that. It's going to happen. But you're paying attention to the wrong things. You're not paying attention to, there are literally more troops in D.C. than there are in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. What a peaceful nation. You keep hearing talk from your politicians on both sides. Both sides, that doesn't mean either of your sides. But you hear talk from Republicans and Democrats of, oh, how we need to unify. There's no plan to unify. There's no way to unify. It does not happen. This machine does not run backwards. The whole point of it is to continually divide you and fracture you into smaller and smaller and smaller groups that hate each other. But something happened today that I will get to, that it satisfies me because I told you and I warned you, and a lot of people didn't believe me, but now I get to go to a very specific thing that just happened. And I get to look at the leftist bootlickers right here, and I get to say, I fucking told you so. You keep thinking you're part of the resistance. You are not. You are part of the machine. You are a bootlicker. You want to turn in your fellow citizens. You know what I haven't looked up? Let me look up what Congress's current approval rating is. I just want to see what that percentage is. Approval rating 2021. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'll let y'all can watch me do it. Oh, let's get some music going, right? Spice it up a little bit. We'll just click on the top one. Oh, so 82% it looks like disapprove. And the trend here is that that's gone up. And the trend for approving has gone down. Interesting, right? So nobody likes the government. Nobody likes the lawmakers. Their approval rating is horrible, as always. But the left will continually back them for some reason. The left's street armies will back them. And they will push that agenda. And they will murder and threaten and ruin the lives of people who don't go along 100% with their narrative. So who really works for the government? Because I could say that you working against your own citizens to help a government with a tiny approval rating makes you a bootlicker. It makes you a Stasi sympathizer. It makes you a tool of the government, and you don't realize it, and you won't, and I don't give a shit anymore. Because you're not going to change your mind. You've already been, and to be cliche, brainwashed. There's no changing it. But let's acknowledge what's happening. And this is always, as always, to the left and to the right. Let's see what is going on right now in D.C., the heart of the U.S. I forgot to take a Zyrtec. I'll start this over. This is an 80s propaganda film. This is like an 80s anti-communist Russia propaganda film. And now it's real. It's happening. And it's not going backwards. Now some dummies might go, well, they'll take that razor wire down. It's not going to be up forever. It's not the point. You have reached a shift societally that you don't come back from. There are more troops in D.C. than there are in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. Doesn't that make you the enemy, American people? Doesn't that make you the enemy? And why are they so worried? People say, oh, they stormed the Capitol, and that's wrong. That's horrible. The government should fucking destroy those people. Well, don't you think these people are mad because of what the government has been doing? And if you're on the left, wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you say the same thing because you've been doing the same thing? So where's the disconnect? Where's the divide? There isn't one. You're just sold that there is by your blue checks and your media and your Hollywood and your big tech. They just keep you scrambled, fighting each other, turning on each other. Even the left is starting to fracture too. They've been very good at being cohesive no matter what the message. If they didn't agree with something, they just wouldn't acknowledge it. So if somebody on their side did something very bad, they just wouldn't acknowledge it. But they wouldn't say anything against it. The right has always had that problem where if you don't agree with the right 100%, you're persona non grata. The right doesn't want anything to do with you. That's the biggest downfall of the right. But then you got to question, is that an accident that happens? Because look what happened at the Capitol when there wasn't somebody there to divide them, when there wasn't a larger voice to divide them. What happened? History happened. It doesn't matter what side you're on. History absolutely happened on January 6th. There's no denying that. You can call it what you want. You can frame it how you want. But it happened. So at least acknowledge that it happened. I want people to see images of the new America, of what's going on. And I want the left, who thinks they're freedom fighters, realizing that they're encouraging this. They're encouraging American troops to murder, arrest, assault, silence people that they don't agree with. Because in the end, they're part of it. They just, again, don't realize it. This is your capital now. It's an anti-Russian propaganda film from the 80s. That is here now. That's America now. Are you batting an eye yet? Are you starting to question, okay, maybe Vill's right. Maybe Vill's right. This is bad. And maybe we shouldn't be encouraging it. But no, this is the left right now. The same people. All cops are bastard. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. All this shit. And what are they doing? Where's the lie? Where's the lie? That's exactly what you're doing. Shout out to Stone Tossed, by the way, for bringing the straight dope. Here's another example. I don't have a puppet yet, so maybe a cartoon will help. This is you, left. This is you, commie, Marxist, anti-fascist. Hey, anti-fascist, you want the military to murder people. And you want police to murder people. You want all law enforcement arms of the federal government and state and local governments to harass, attack, murder, arrest, privately imprison people that you now don't agree with that did exactly what you were doing for 200 plus days of rioting. And now you don't agree with it. And now all of a sudden you want the state to step in. Maybe you feel like it's your state. Maybe you feel like, oh, we've made enough progress now that the government's on our side enough that, hey, you know what? In one day, we agree with FBI targeting. We agree with throwing people into the privatized prison system. Now, I know you're sitting there in your little mind, your little brain, and you're going, oh, it's justifiable because so-and-so, hatred, bigotry. So that's actually cool because you're not going to think about it. Which just proves that you're a state-controlled opposition network. You still back the state. But this machine doesn't run backwards. So I'll jump around now to make my point. Because keep in mind, you've been asking for the silencing, the arrest, the harassment, the no-fly list, domestic terrorism charges, insurrection charges. You've been asking about all that for a very long time, since the 6th. Well, let me tell you what happens, because this machine doesn't run backwards. John Sullivan has been charged. Your guy. And you pushed for it. How does that feel? Oh, you're still not a tool of the state? Here, look again. You were okay with him being on Anderson Cooper? As they go, well, John Sullivan could be there. He's a citizen journalist / activist. He did the right thing. He was supposed to be there. By the way, I agree that he was supposed to be there. You're not going to catch me saying, well, I think he should be in jail, because I don't. I don't think John Sullivan should be in jail. I don't think John Sullivan should face charges for being in the Capitol. John Sullivan, for this particular moment, in my opinion, did a heroic thing by filming the murder of Ashley Babbitt. Do you see how I can use my brain and go, that's a positive? That's a positive that somebody was there to record the murder of Ashley Babbitt? But you can't do that. So you praise CNN for praising John Sullivan while demonizing everybody else in the Capitol. And this is what you get. There's a lot of people in my comments right now. I'm not even looking at them. There's a lot of people in my comments right now going, ha ha ha, gets what he deserves. Gets what he deserves, man. But let me tell you this. We all get what we deserve at this point. I don't want John Sullivan facing charges for being in the Capitol building as a reporter. Does that blow your mind? Right wing? Because they're coming after all of us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you pick a side and that side is left or right, you've already lost. All you need to do is acknowledge who your masters are and who they control. And I'll tell you right now, it's the government. They control everything, which includes the FBI. Let's just all government law enforcement, FBI, CIA, DHS, so on and so on and so on. The media. The government controls the media. That's sanctioned media. That's what's allowed. Because when it's not your major news networks covering things, the government goes, well, it's not legacy media. In fact, I don't even like that they were covering in that. Let's throw them in jail. Who's the enemy? Is it the right? Is it really the right? Or have you been fooled? You know the answer. You won't acknowledge it, but you know the answer. And the attacks are coming our way, by the way. We don't miss them. We see them. But just know, we acknowledge that you are a tool of an oppressive regime. And you're afraid. But they've got you convinced that you're winning because you think your side is in control right now. There is no your side. And now you're seeing it come back to you. And what will you do? What will you say? Will you acknowledge? You probably won't even acknowledge it. Nah. Because you can't say, well, John Sullivan should have been arrested. Just like all those other insurrectionists and domestic terrorists. You can't say that. You know it, but you can't say it because you've chosen a side and you're not going to depart from that. No way around it. Let's pull up some other things. I'm just like plowing through the show today in a good way because there's a lot of stuff I want to get to. Let's look up some more. Did we go through all of the... I just wanted to make sure everybody sees Washington right now. Just take a look at all these pictures. Hey, left, this is what you're calling for. This is what you want. And you think they're going to stop at the right. The proverbial right. You think they're going to quit. No. This machine doesn't run backwards. I hate to keep repeating myself, but it's very important. It will run over you. It doesn't stop and turn around. It only progresses. It only gets worse. It's not going another direction. There's only one direction. And that's control. So get used to it. Because these people are going to crack your fucking heads just like they're going to crack our fucking heads. Shit. I like talking to nobody. but feel like I'm talking to somebody. I just know this all falls on deaf ears. I mean, not my side, which is the acknowledging that government is the problem side, instead of being like, let me team up with half the government because they're my friends. Let me rage against half the machine. There's only the machine, folks. It's just one machine. There's not a side that you're on and a side that I'm on when it comes to the machine. And the machine is the government. All right? I mean, we could put it as cleverly as we want. But you rage against half the machine, and that's all there is to it. Oh no, our people are in there, and they're making change. It's funny how those people that are in there that you think are on your side are still calling for the law enforcement agencies that you thought that they demonized and they weren't fans of to do the same thing you've been against for all these protests. Speaking of protests, the protests continue in DC. So what's happening right now is there's marches in the streets, Stasi marches, Stasi sympathizer marches in the streets of DC to stop hotels from opening because, you ready for this? Because they feel like it might invite people who are Trumpers to DC to disrupt the inauguration. You heard me right. The people that don't, the people that want disruption of the system, they want chaos in the system, are marching to make sure that the inauguration won't be overturned. Remember, folks, these people were anti-state before the 6th. So why did they change their mind?
We're here to tell hotels to don't host hate. I want to give a shout out to our colleagues at the Stop Police Terror Project for this phrase. I think it sums up perfectly why we're here today. We know from last week that white supremacists are planning to come to our city with violent intentions. And
I don't believe that, at least not in any major numbers. But I will say that I don't know who this person is because she's smart and wore a mask. Is perfectly okay with cities being taken over by their people. Now keep in mind, their people are shutting down your businesses in a time where it's very important that your businesses stay open because the government is enforcing all these COVID restrictions, which is destroying us. Probably already has. We're probably destroyed. Well, I guarantee we're destroyed, but I'm saying that COVID was a huge part of that. So now you have these people saying, you can't come here. You can't stop the system's system. What are you doing? Are you stopping the system's system?
after their days of unrest, they're going to come back to these hotels. And these hotels that we are standing at the center of today are where they come back and find their safe haven at night. And that's a threat to all of us. It's a threat to the people who live here. It's a threat to the staff who work in these hotels. It's a threat to the members of Congress who represent...
I'm sorry, what? It's a threat to who? You've been against all these people. You've been against the government this whole time. But now it's a threat to Congress. She said that. This fucking jackboot said that. This fucking bootlicking Stasi fucking sympathizer just said that. I'm going to play it again.
Congress who represent hotels. It's a threat to the members of Congress who represent the country and democracy.
These people have been fucking raging against democracy for 200 fucking days. These are the same people. And they just said it's a threat to democracy, and you don't think there's something going on here. You don't think that you're fucking controlled. You just changed your entire narrative, you fucking cunt. Fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking bootlicker. Oh, it's a threat to our democracy. This fucking bitch just said that. She just said it's a threat to our democracy. These are the same people who've been calling for the end of our fucking democracy.
For the last 3 days, I've been Airbnb hosts across the DC region. We've had 500 volunteers step up to send messages to more than 3,000 Airbnb hosts individually, neighbor to neighbor, saying, please cancel your reservations.
I'm sure they were polite about it. Please cancel your reservations. Please. Hey, what about if you believe in America and the system and freedom, which you obviously don't? What about people that would want to come see Joe Biden be inaugurated? He is the most popular candidate in history. Don't you think that there would be more people going to the Capitol to be like, "Yay, Joe! Yay! We did it! We did it!" Kind of makes you think, right? I mean, what are you worried about? You have 20,000 American soldiers in the Capitol, and this is the most popular president ever. Kind of makes you scratch your head.
Anyone who tries to book in the next week, we know that they are likely to have hostile intentions.
How?
We also know that these folks are lying about why they're coming to town.
How?
And being deceitful. We've had incredible conversations, and yesterday, Airbnb, the corporation, announced that they are canceling all reservations for Airbnbs in the DC area for the...
We shut it down. We shut it down, folks. Your corporations are in bed with your government, and your government is in bed with your corporations, and these activists are the little worker bees. There's no way around it. How do you get around that? You can't.
Lead up to Inauguration Week. That is the level of corporate action that is called for in the...
Corporate action. Just listen to the words, folks. This isn't an edited video. These are the anti-corporate people. I know what you're gonna say, but we're changing corporations. That machine doesn't run backwards either. You want to know a little secret about corporations? They have to have a board, right? These big corporations, they have a board. And do you know what the sole purpose of the board is? The singular purpose? The one purpose. And if they don't do this, they lose their seat on the board. It's to turn a profit. Look it up.
Moments. We're here to ask every hotel in the DC area to also close and to pay their workers to stay home and stay safe. The Airbnb announcement yesterday not only said that they were canceling reservations, but they were going to...
Blah, blah, blah. Go shine some more boots with your tongue. Fucking Nazi. What madness. There's another video of their march. Here we go. Let's listen to this one. Talk about how the state is bad for 200 days and corporations are evil for 200... More than 2. I need to get a more precise figure. And now how they're protecting democracy and how, they're stopping Americans from celebrating Joe Biden's inauguration, most popular candidate in history. This shit, it doesn't add up. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It does not add up.
My name is Nene Teller, NeneTaylor, co-organizer with Black Lives Matter DC.
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, these large corporations that I'm supposed to rage against. Follow me there.
It's unfortunate as a black woman, I have to be here and give you free labor to inform you to protect DC and let you know that white supremacists are not welcome in DC. Let me be clear.
In fact, nobody's welcome in DC. Ha! Ha! We stopped fascism.
White supremacists are not welcome here in DC.
Again, neither is anybody else. We stopped everybody from coming here to watch the inauguration of the most popular candidate in history. And if they do show up, luckily, the National Guard is here, because that's never been a bad thing. That's never gone wrong. You know, having U.S. soldiers on U.S. land. What could go wrong? We're all for it now. Hey, government, we need you to protect the democratic system we've been speaking out against all this time. And hey, while you're at it, we need you to add U.S. citizens to domestic terror lists and no-fly lists. Oh, and while you're at it, hey, bring more National Guard into D.C. than there are in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. Yeah, they're totally anti-fascists.
We need our local businesses, our owners to join in solidarity and send this message to the Proud Boys and Trump supporters. Once again, they're planning to come again. Be clear. They came November the 14th, December the 12th, and then January the 6th. And these hotels hosted, hey, we got...
Keep in mind, I think y'all saw the picture of when the peaceful protests on this person's side, it just had DC just on fire everywhere. Yeah, just forget that, you know, just memory hold at it, never happened.
High Place, Capitol Hilton, Haymarket, Hey Adams, they actually have the...
We get it, I know. The more words you put in there, the smarter you sound is what a lot of people think, but is actually not true. So, let's go with... Oh, here's a good one. I just wanted to point this out there. I don't know this woman's prior political affiliations. I just know she was responsible for taking down an evil Hollywood monster goon that's friends with all your politicians, and all your politicians and lawmakers and other powerful people in media and Hollywood and tech really tried to protect the person that this one tiny person helped put in prison for being absolute piece of shit, but was protected by the same systems and people that these protesters are now defending. This is from Rose McGowan. Somebody sent this to me, and I thought it was very interesting. I don't follow Rose McGowan because I don't have Instagram or Twitter, but let's just read this together. Do not let them fool you. Both sides of political parties in USA are cults. I would know. I came from one. Your freedom is an illusion. Has she lied yet? Your control now more intense than ever. Has she lied yet? Of course you're being controlled. You can't say things on mega huge social media platforms without being banned. Remember when they were like, oh, you don't like Twitter? Start your own Twitter then. You fucking loser. Start your own fucking Twitter, bro. So they started Parler and they go, fuck, they started their own Twitter. Shut it down. Shut that fucking thing down. Because it's all bullshit. Let's get back to reading this. Because here's my favorite part coming up. Notice who she names and know that I agree with this 100%. If you want to know what side I'm on, it's this one. The fear and terror U.S. government, media, tech, Hollywood has bred into the world, and especially its citizens, is extreme. Do you agree or do you not agree with that? And then we'll know where we stand. What is happening with big tech is effed beyond. Brace yourselves for collateral damage. Be safe. Look deeper. Just because they're on the right doesn't mean it's not true. No, I am not an anyone's supporter, but I'm telling you to look deeper. Now, there are very, very bad, dark things happening. The Capitol takeover is a mass distraction, and while media cycle is on, your rights are gone. That quick, holy, pardon my language, fudge, it's on. There are people out there that can still think for themselves. There are people out there that still see the actual problem. But this woman will probably now be called a Nazi sympathizer, a domestic terrorist sympathizer. And that's weird because all dictatorships use the exact same tactics to turn citizens against each other to maintain control. They put the narratives out there and they said, hey, our society, you're only allowed to fit into this narrative or this narrative. And those narratives usually wind up being on our holy government side or a dirty, evil dissenter trying to ruin everybody's lives. But let me ask you this. Who's been in control your entire lives? And if you look from your childhood to today, would you say things have gotten better or things have gotten worse? And I'll let you be the judge of how you want to interpret that. But just know, that's the machine, and it moves in one direction. And once you welcome it, it's just going to roll over you. It's never going to stop right in front of you and go, oh, maybe we went too far. It's just going to keep going. So all I can tell people is if it's looking like you're going to be a victim of the machine, but more importantly, because this is how the machine works, more importantly, a victim of a stooge of the machine, a useful idiot of the machine, someone who embraces the machine. And what I'm talking about is all your people on social media and all your fake bullshitters and their marches and how they've so quickly turned and have embraced the state. Don't pay any attention to them doing that. No big deal. No, they've only been rallying against the state for at least 200 days. And now they're talking about protecting democracy. Where was I going? Where did I start with this? Oh, it's those people you need to be afraid of. Because they're the ones that will shoot you in an alleyway. They're the ones that will recognize you and jump you in a bathroom. Because they wind up being the enforcers of the state. And they're everywhere. As I've said before, in East Germany, 1 in 3 citizens were informers for the Stasi. 1 in 3. There's nobody you can trust. The machine has swallowed them up and they're using them to their advantage. And these people don't realize it. And they think that your murder or your death or your silence is the right thing to do because it's what the state wants. So be very, very afraid of these people. But know this. You outnumber them. And you stay silent because one of their tactics is to say, this guy over here, he stepped out of line. He said something on Twitter. Ooh, he said something on Twitter. Flood his inbox. Send out his address. Tell the authorities. Which side are you really on? You're on your government side against your fellow citizen. And you're not going to change. They're not going to change. You've seen this repeated throughout history. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. But you can stand up to it. You can speak out against it. And when they come for you, you fight back. And you fight back very publicly. And then one day, maybe more people will fight back when they come for them. But there will come a time that it won't turn around. They will overwhelm you. Because part of their strategy, part of their tactic throughout history is to make you feel isolated. You're not isolated. I'll give you a great example of what happens when you stand up to the state. January 6th. Devoid of your regular figureheads of the right. Devoid of what would be viewed as a leader. Devoid of all that, without the distractions, you, America, had enough people on your side to do what happened on January 6th. You peacefully protested in the Capitol that you own. And now they're picking you off one by one. Because they know they can't stop you as a whole. So just remember that next time you're feeling alone and afraid and scared, you're not alone. You far outnumber the systems people and their bootlicker subservience. It's okay to stand up for yourself. It is no longer a respectable government. It is no longer a government of, for, and by the people. The right and left would agree with me on that. There's not one person listening to this, no matter what their political ideology, that would disagree with me. It is not a government of, by, and for the people. And they're coming for us. They're consolidating power. And they're doing it through their propaganda arms. Your legacy media. Cool name they gave themselves, legacy media. Oh, the ones responsible for lying about all the wars. The ones responsible for their for-profit programming. Yeah, those are the ones we trust. Legacy media. I wonder what's worse, like the media, mainstream, the legacy media's overall rating or Congress's. And like people still fight to defend their side's media, their side's government. The government and the media are on one side. Okay? And you're not on that side. You're either used by them or you're against them. Now you tell me, am I lying? I might be able to wrap up. I feel like we've gone through a lot. Let me scroll through a few more pictures. Oh, here's a video everybody needs to just watch. USA, 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 USA. Sorry, I get excited and I get all patriotic, man. Which side wants this? Which side wants this? It's the same side that has been tricked into thinking that these protests were really about civil rights. These protests were really about being anti-establishment. But look how quickly the rhetoric changed. Now, this is their God. This is their state. Long live the government. And the National Guard, poor bastards. If you're listening to me, if you can hear me, I do feel bad for you. I do feel bad for you. I, as a taxpayer, I don't want to spend my money on you being in our capital. But the people that control everything, that nobody approves of, they want you there. They want you to protect them so they can keep making horrible decisions that ruin Americans' lives. Decisions like, oh, I don't know, going back to war. I'm going to predict now that we will be at war with Iran very soon. They're on our side, man. We got to protect democracy, guys. Every day before January 6th. Down with the state. All cops are bastards. Fuck everybody. Fuck America. And now they're like, oh, America, I love you so much. Oh, you're so great. We got to protect you and defend you. National Guard? Yes, please. It's getting too heavy out here. Oh, shit. They actually did finally get together and do something insanely meaningful and historical. Oh, shit. Oh, hey, handlers. Hey, Antifa handlers, y'all better tell your stormtroopers to start preaching the exact opposite thing of what they have been preaching this entire time. That's not weird at all. Just pouring into the Capitol. Hey, National Guard people, I feel bad for. How hard is that floor? I'll bet that really sucks. How are they feeding you? You guys got a bunch of MREs? Like, how does that work? I almost just went down this really crazy hole. I'll let you into my mind a little bit. So I was watching that and I was talking and I thought to myself, that's a lot of people in one place. So what happened if shit did hit the fan and you just cut off their supplies? They'd get hungry really fast. I'm not saying to do that. It's just what ran through my mind. Like, how do you feed that many people in such a small space? Like, what happens when let's just say Antifa. Let's say, what happens when Antifa blocks the roads and they don't let people in and out? Kind of like we do when we're at war with these countries illegally, you know, all these blockades and shit. We're like, oh, well, you can't get supplies through because Americans are blocking the supply routes. I mean, it's gotta get scary. And I would not want to be a National Guard person right now. Like, imagine being in the National Guard in this day and age and being like, Jesus Christ, I got to defend these fucking people? Nobody even approves of their job. Hey, Billy, have you seen their approval rating? I just looked this up on Google. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's single digits sometimes. I think it's single digits right now. I think it tops out at 15%. What the fuck are we doing? Why are we here? We're going to kill our own citizens for these people who have... Everybody hates them. What the fuck are we doing? Imagine being a National Guard right now. Ooh, bleh. Well, I'll do one more scroll through the old pictures. And I had a video where there was a FOIA request rejected by the DC police. Illegal. But I'm not going to get to that. We're out of time. I feel like it's been a long show, a great show. Oh, there is something I have to touch on. Very important. Sorry, I have all these kind of scattered about. So when I pull them up. Hey, this is what... these are the people that are going to be so pissed that the state turns on them. But you need to be more afraid of when the people turn on you. Palmer Report, blue check on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, says conservatism means you don't believe in equality. It means you want it all for yourself and you're willing to destroy other groups of people to take it all for yourself. Have we been paying attention to the last, say, 6 months even? I haven't seen any conservatives out in the street except for one day trying to accomplish what this guy's saying, but I've seen other people. That's not a crime against the law, but it's a crime against humanity, and we must acknowledge as much. Conservatives cannot be teachers, police officers, doctors, lawyers, coaches, or bosses. It's constitutionally... They care about the Constitution now? Like, why do these people... Why do they bring up the Constitution where the first part in it is free speech and they go, we don't want you to be able to say anything? Like, that's how fucking stupid they are. That's how brainwashed they are. That, or it's their strategy, as I've been saying for a long time. They just use your constitutional protections against you because they embrace the constitutional protections to protect themselves as they take the constitutional rights away from you. But I digress. Conservatives cannot be any of those things. It's constitutionally unfair to others who are subjected to conservatives' deranged judgment. Conservatives can do menial work until they are ready to join the human race. So one part of psychological warfare or preparation for actual warfare is dehumanizing your enemy. Look it up. Look up old American war propaganda posters. You had like the Japanese, and like they would draw them as like rats because they have to dehumanize the enemy so the soldiers wouldn't think so much. So the soldiers would be more likely to kill the enemy because in the soldiers' minds they weren't really human. It's no mistake that this gentleman is talking this way. He's dehumanizing you so you're easier to kill in their minds. Don't be afraid. Just stand up for yourself, people. Just stand up for yourself. These people are in the minority. And they're afraid right now. They're about to lose control. Now, I don't think they will. I think America will go back to bed any day now, and will just accept all these harsh realities as reality. This authority as reality. And we'll go back to work, and we'll be happy to, because they've kept us broke and poor because of the coronavirus. So when they do give us something back, we will thank them. That's how it works. Let me see if I click the picture the correct way. No. We shouldn't be cold-hearted about this. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I read those other ones. Well, at least he's not being cold-hearted about it. But having a conservative as a police officer, for instance, isn't much different from having a KKK member as a police officer. It's just not something that a civilized society can ever tolerate. So the psychology here, is more dehumanization. They bring up an example, and then they go, here's what that's equivalent to. Goebbels being a cop. You wouldn't want Goebbels to be a cop, would you? That's fucking insane. Goebbels can't be a cop. I assume most of you know who that is. We should rehabilitate any conservatives. There's that camp talk. We should rehabilitate any conservatives who are willing to try. We should pay for them to undergo therapy and retraining so they can understand the world around them. The conservatives are the one who pay taxes. Oh, and your tech billionaires. Well, oh wait, no they don't. So you're going to pay for your own re-education, America. You hear that? Because I don't think the Palmer Report is going to shell over any money. But first we must get them out of positions of influence because they're infringing on the rights of others. So influence is a very broad term. But that just means everywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I believe Thunderdome TV is coming up next. Stick around. I'm loving the Trovo thing. I'll check out the comments after the show. We weren't able to set them up to where they pop up on the monitor yet. But we will get all that stuff working. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Stick around. We'll send out... follow us on Telegram. That's at Thunderdome TV. No spaces. Thunderdome TV. Follow us on Telegram. And that's where we post when we're going live and stuff so you can see it. Also, turn on your notifications on Trovo and YouTube and all that stuff. All right, everybody. Goodbye for now.